I just got off the plane for the first time in over 2 years. Very pumped to be traveling again. I'm here in Vegas. That's Vegas out there. Can't really see it right now. But I'm here in Vegas to live stream an event. Very excited about that, and we're going to talk more about that here, kind of give you some behind the scenes in this video. All right, live events are back. It's been great. It's been a lot of fun. Really enjoy this, but I kind of forgot how crazy they can sometimes get. The event just ended, and now they got a chance to kind of tear things down, pack things up. But I wanted to really give you a quick recap and talk about kind of 3 key elements when running an in-person event, live streaming an in-person event. So this one went really well. I was hoping to get some more behind the scenes shots. I got a few quick ones, but I was hoping to break in a few times to talk to you, hopefully on some of these future ones. Like I said, I'm out in Vegas every month for at least the rest of the year. So next 3 months. The first key element is going to be your planning, kind of that preparation process, and really taking time before you get on site, well before the event, ideally. I know we've been working on this one for a couple months. Especially partly because it was the first one back, first time they've live streamed an in-person event. So wanted to make sure we had everything figured out as much as possible. So figuring out what gear you're gonna need, how you're gonna connect with people, how you're gonna handle any sort of troubleshooting issues that might come up, what's that gonna look like, what that process is gonna look like, and then planning out how you wanna have those transitions, how you want things to happen. So it's going through creating those checklists as much as possible, and just having conversations with all the parties involved to make sure everyone knows these are the things that need to happen. And then you yourself, as somebody who's running that live stream, making sure that you know what the actual flow of the event is and what stuff you can kind of prepare ahead of time, can kind of plan out ahead of time, in terms of graphics, in terms of camera switches, or where you might want to, different camera angles, how you might want to handle that, and really planning as much as possible is going to be one of those big key things. Key number two is going to be process. That is thinking as much about the process and documenting your process as possible. Again, like I mentioned, the first one that we really done, I've done a lot of them, but this first one in year and a half, I live stream some stuff where it's just one person in a room or maybe 2 people on camera talking directly to the camera, but it's been a while since we've had that big conference or that big meeting and live streaming that in, where it's really more about the in-person piece, and we're just taking that, bringing it online to help more people have access to it. So wanted to throw out all the previous processes, or most of them, kind of restart from scratch, making sure, obviously knowing some of it, but really rethinking what that's going to look like, and then documenting everything possible. So documenting all the checklists, or document all the gear lists. So for this event, brought way more than we definitely needed. It was a little bit of a pain, shipped more than we needed. So now, today, tomorrow when we get back, I'm going to be going through kind of figuring out what cables did we use, what all this other stuff did we use, and what can we get rid of and not have to bring again, and how can we streamline that. Already ordered some new gear, some different types of cables, new camera. Yes, always happy about that. But ordered a bunch of other things, just cases for how to travel with stuff, because we are going to be going lots of different locations, flying a decent amount. So how can we get the gear from location to location with the right cases, so we're not throwing it in our checked luggage all the time. We actually have some high quality Pelican cases, things like that. And we can organize it in a way where it's super easy to pack and unpack and repack, and just make things as efficient as smoothly as possible. But the key is going to be actually going through and documenting that process. So when we land, even going all the way back, this is the stuff we ship, this is the gear that we travel with, this is when we land, this is how we set up the room, and this is the first things that we get set up to make sure and start testing that. This is the process for streaming the actual event. We kick off the event at this time. We start the stream, test it out, make sure everything's working. We have this graphic or this like countdown timer, the see-through, transparent kind of image, so that way people kind of know that stuff is happening, that their stream's working, and they can see when the session actually starts. This is how we transition to the first one. All of those types of things. This is how we handle questions. Those types of things, documenting and figuring all of that out as much as possible is going to be huge. And what it really allows you to do is it allows you to kind of elevate your baseline for what is kind of the basic elements of what kind of that standard is for your live streams. You're able to raise the standard of quality for your live streams as you document these processes, because then you can just follow the process. You can go through and follow that checklist kind of to the letter or close enough. And by close enough, I mean sometimes you might have to adjust it for certain situations. That's obvious. I'm not asking you to quickly just do the same thing every single time, but you're able to adjust things and make some differences. And then because you have that process to follow, you're going to be able to spend the time, energy, and resources on improving in some other way. Adding extra graphics, finding a new camera angle, or being able to add that extra camera, stuff like that. You're going to be able to figure out and really work to improve and constantly improve your live streams, which is huge. And that's how you create some of those amazing, high quality streaming events, is by continuing to add a little bit of complexity, a little bit of more professionalism each time. And you're only able to do that when you document that process. And the third thing that kind of rolls right into it is doing that little extra. So for this event, again, it was kind of our very first one, so there's a couple little extra pieces that I wanted to make sure we did to help polish it, make it look better, so that people putting on the events knew that this was a high quality thing and they wanted to continue to do live streams in the future. That was little simple things like adding a session title graphic. So as they transitioned between speakers or in between sessions, there was just a little wipe graphic that came up with a little session title and then went away, and we're back into the live event. And it wasn't like stopping everything. It wasn't a big long video. It was a couple seconds that just transitioned across, so people who were watching on the live stream knew which session they were just about to start watching. I think that was a really nice little piece. It kind of ties it all together, makes it a little more polished. Also doing a little intro sequence at the start of the day is just like a 5 to 7 second clip that shows some graphics of the Mirage, which is where we're at, as well as like setting up for the event, some just general branding around the event. I think that piece is huge because it helps the person who's watching on the live stream feel a little bit more like they're in the event. It was showing the table tents, it was showing people walking around and setting up the PowerPoint so that you could see it on the screen, and kind of just showcasing people checking in and registering. And again, it wasn't very long. It was a lot of really quick clips, but it just gave that feel of, okay, we're being transported to this environment, we're being transported to this hotel virtually, and it will help them feel like they were part of the event and could still feel a little more connection with the people who are actually in the room. I think that was a huge part. I'm really happy we were doing that. But the big key here is when you do those little extra things, create a process around it, create a template around it. So now I have this little intro sequence. I don't need to change the graphics. I don't need to change, other than changing titles and maybe color, depending on the branding for the event. But it's super easy changes. All the cuts and everything are there. I just need to find and shoot new clips. And I kind of know this is the entrance to the hotel clip. This is kind of the registration desk clip. This is the general room feel clip. Like you were able to just quickly swap those new clips out from that next event and have an intro sequence set, ready to go. And it makes it easier. So again, we can spend more time doing something this next time. I already have some ideas for the next event. The next event we have is kind of a cool little challenge of bringing some people from Zoom or from remote people into the room, allowing them to be able to interact and ask questions, and hopefully produce it all from back of the room so that I can constantly change what's being displayed on the PowerPoint screen versus having to run up to a computer and share things there. I'll talk more about it later. I have an idea of how we're going to handle it. I'll let you know how it goes. We'll do another vlog for that next event, but I think it's really cool. I think it's really awesome. So those are the 3 keys that I want you to remember. Is that you need to spend some time planning, preparing, and doing those little extra things. Now, if you're looking to stream an event, likely you're going to want to send it to multiple locations. So check out this video right here to learn more about my favorite service for doing that, and I'll see you in the next one.